Our next speaker is equally as exciting, the director of Amazon Bedrock Science, Sherry Marcus, who is a pioneering leader in responsible AI development at AWS. In addition to launching Amazon Bedrock, one of Amazon's flagship generative AI services, she has also spearheaded groundbreaking projects like Titan Embeddings, a large language model that powers search, personalization, and retrieval augmented generation use cases, and serves as an AI ML consultant for companies as part of AWS's Generative AI Innovation Center. Sherry, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sherry Marcus, and I lead Bedrock Science. Bedrock, as mentioned, is AWS's generative AI service where customers, hundreds of thousands of customers from Fortune 1000 companies, will create generative AI applications by choosing specific LLM models, large language models, and create generative AI applications for specific business objectives. So earlier today, I heard one of the contestants here speak on transformers in a specific app, and I was just so inspired and impressed by it, as well as other presentations I've heard. So I just want to congratulate all the students here today, along with the parents and teachers who made this possible. It doesn't just take, one person to be able to come out and create such great presentations and capabilities. It really does take a combined group effort. So congratulations and thank you to all of you. Many years ago, I participated in a similar contest when I was in high school. At that point, it was known as the Westinghouse Science Talent Search, which then was morphed into, I believe, the Intel Search, which was then morphed into the Siemens Search. I don't recall the current name for it, but it's really just a thrill and a privilege to be able to be back here and come full circle and speak to students who were in my shoes so many years ago. I was asked today to speak a little bit about my journey and how I got here. So I think I will start with that and then talk a little bit about, what I do in AWS, trends I'm seeing, and some advice as you think about college and your careers. And then I'll kind of open it up for general questions if there are any. So my journey, so I grew up in Queens, New York. This was before Queens, New York was trendy and expensive. I'm the child of refugees who, like many other people who've come to this country, were fleeing oppression and seeking a new life. I went to the local schools in New York City, and I was definitely a bit of a precocious kid. But I was fortunate enough to be able to get accepted into a magnet high school, Bronx Science, where I really found myself, found STEM, and found students, like me. So I know we live in a different world today of social media, and it's perhaps easier to find students, but I really do believe in the power of magnet schools and gifted and talented programs to bring students together to be able to learn from each other and teach from each other. I then went to Cornell and got my undergraduate degree at MIT. I got my PhD in mathematics, and I always thought I would be a mathematician. And my career was set. I had a postdoc at Harvard. I was going to go to Michigan, and then I decided I didn't want to be a math professor anymore. And I guess the lesson here is that it's okay to change your mind. And even if you go down a pursuit that you're passionate about, things do change. and you should trust your instincts and go along with them. And so at that point, I had a choice of either going to the US government or go to Wall Street. And having come from New York and having a slightly overbearing mother, I didn't want to go back to New York City. So I took a job for the CIA, where I did work in large-scale data analysis. And one of the things I got out of working at the CIA, as well as working later on at other government agencies, is that this was before big data was a thing. You know, nobody really talked about, a lot of data. And it was before really AI was a thing, or large scale data applications was a thing, or scaling, was a thing. And so I really felt, I really got a bird's eye view of watching the industry grow, literally from scratch. For example, I was there with the first, when Jeff Bezos decided to bring the cloud to CIA, I was there. When the first web search technologies came out, I was there and watched them scale. And it was a really fantastic opportunity to, observe that. I ended my career, or paused my career with the government at Cray Computers, where Cray built high-performance supercomputers for the US government, where I really had the opportunity for the first time to understand like how to do scale at the bare metal. And one of the things I really suggest as all of you building applications is to really learn what the full stack looks like from bare metal to UI, because as you go and move on in your career, you'll find you need to connect with those or work with the different levels of the stack. And you need to be able to ask thoughtful questions and kind of dig, to kind of know what works and what doesn't work. So then after my career with the government, I moved into finance. And I never really thought, leaving the government, I had any marketable skills based on, what I did. But it turned out I did. And so doing applications in finance for front running, which means finding out information about stock transactions or stock changes before they're permissible to gain advantage is an example of front running. And so I started in finance working on those types of applications, and then moved into more of what they call alpha gen, or how to make money off of different types of behaviors or trades in the financial sector. And it was really fascinating. I was part of BlackRock at the point of the height of the pandemic, where nobody was trading, and I was, one of the data people. And so pension funds would call me versus the traders, because they knew that I had access to all of the data. And so that was also a very instructive thing to me about, about how people think. And then lastly, I decided I really loved technology and just wanted to do that. And I moved into AWS, where my current role is now in generative AI. And so I'd like to, on that note, give some advice on this. We are literally in the third inning in AI. And in the future, I will guarantee you 100% that your job, whenever you take it, will not just be you doing your job. You will be doing a job with an AI. That's happening today, and it will continue to happen. So what does that mean? It means you will not be hired as a software engineer, okay? You will not be evaluated and given code tests just as a software engineer by yourself. You will be evaluated together with how effectively you can use these LLM models to build different applications as efficiently as possible and as innovatively as possible. And that's, where the future holds. And the types of jobs today for software engineers, entry level, applied scientists, entry level, are really going to be very different because many of the simpler things are being automated. And so they really want people to bring additional value above and beyond what a generative AI application can do. So again, my advice is to really think about, as you move into your careers, how are you going to be working with these AI assistants? So for example, when you use generative AI in medicine, doctors will now be using these systems to support diagnostics inside of the clinic. They will be using generative AI in manufacturing lines. They use generative AI today in customer service applications. So the world for sure is changing. It is a revolution that perhaps you're not feeling yet, but it is there. The next thing I wanted to mention is you're all in school now and will be in school for a while. But when you get out of school, it doesn't mean that you never stop learning and you never stop, reading and exploring and always trying to get better. So this needs to be part of your daily hygiene in whatever you do. And the last thing I want to end with is the presentations that you're giving today are really invaluable experience, because what I have found truly is you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you're not able to effectively explain your thinking clearly and cohesively and concisely, then you're not able to present, your value publicly. So I really want to impress on all of you that these skills that you're learning are super important, and continue to really focus on how you show up. And on that, I really, again, thank you for having me. I've been really inspired with your presentations. And if there are any questions for me, I'll be happy to take it. Thank you. I understand the question. So the question, just to repeat it, is, and I'm paraphrasing, but large language models have gotten bigger and bigger. And how are companies differentiating themselves in terms of creating these large language models as a function of, inference per user? That's the best way I can say it. So the answer is that most of these, so having literally spoken to hundreds of customers per day, most of the problems that I see in industry can be solved by very small models. So these are things like, either Llama 7B sizes or Llama 7DB sizes. You don't need, a trillion parameter size model to do customer service. So the world is moving towards more smaller models that will be either fine-tuned or agentic, where these self-learning models through agents are going to be trained. But it's going to be, so to answer your question, there's like two pieces of tension. Okay, on the one side, inference now is a race to the bottom. Okay, so anybody that wants to run models on infrastructure, companies want the cheapest possible solution that they can get. On the other hand, the value add is through agentic AI types of applications, where think of many of these models are running together collaboratively trying to solve your problems, right? And that's kind of where the future is and the imagination is right now.